Hello and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. It's finally halfway decent so I can play in the garden a little bit. So we're going to finish with this garden makeover today. At least we're going to finish what we started. So one of the first things I need to do to finish these beds is to get the rest of this plastic off. And y'all, it's been a couple of weeks since I started this project. And then I went out of town for work. And then the weather was horrible. Just couldn't wind over here. So we're gonna get the plastic off. I will also do a garden update. Or should I say final tour maybe, because, well, it's still not final. I still got Brussels sprouts over there. So we'll do a garden tour update, just show you what's going on as we get these beds together. Oh man, oh, such pretty Brussels sprouts. I'll show them to you in just a minute. If I never talked about it, the reason why I hold off on getting the plastic off is because when I'm putting my metal raised beds in place, I have a tendency to bang things around and bump into things. And this way I protect the bed while I'm doing all of that kind of stuff. All right, got the plastic off. So now it's time to put the little rubber gasket all the way around. And the rubber gasket, and yeah, I got to get water lines. We'll worry about that in the spring. We're not going to worry about that now. But for the little rubber gaskets, it's pretty simple. That end doesn't look so hot. Let's cut that off. Get a nice even start. There we go. There we go. So for the rubber gasket, just put it on. And I like to give it a little stretch. And where there's an overlap, I try to make sure I cover the whole overlap. And we're gonna go all the way around this bed. When I buy my metal raised beds, there's so many different ways you can put them together, but I try to always put them together so that I use every piece, every panel, because you pay all that money, you definitely want to use every panel, or try to anyway. All right, gonna keep working our way around. All right, all the way around. Now this bed is completely done. Now let's take care of the rest of these beds. Okay, y'all, I'm finally finished. Finally. I almost didn't make it. Whew. This was the hardest gasket to put on in the whole garden. And it happened to be my last bed, which is a good thing, because if this had been like the first or second bed, y'all, we wouldn't have got this task done. Anyway, all of the plastic's off, all of the gaskets are on. The only thing I got left to finish with this makeover is to put these green stalks together. And guess what? I'm not doing that today. That's going to be another task because it looks like something's been digging in these strawberries here. And there are actually 3 strawberry GreenStalk vertical planters here that I need to reassemble and put back together, but that's another day. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to just show you around. The sun finally came out for the first time since I can remember. But let me show you the garden, what's going on. We had some snow and some pretty frigid temperatures, so let me show you what's going on in the garden. This is the peach tree that I relocated to this space here. It was over by the street, and this year somebody decided to take all of the peaches off of it, which was the first year I was even going to get peaches on it. So I was super excited, and I didn't get to enjoy any of them. So we relocated it here, and I had to cut the biggest root off of this thing. So basically this tree had busted through the wooden bottom and was growing into the ground, actually on top of a tree stump that I had this sitting on. And I had to cut off a pretty big root off of this tree, and I was super concerned. We gave it all kinds of goodies underneath here, dug out a hole for most of that root to go into as well, fertilized it real good, and I believe we're okay. Now this tree wants to grow crooked. I'm hoping, I don't think I can fix this, but I'm hoping with this stake right here, we can start trying to push it back in the other direction. The tree actually looks very good. It's super healthy. The roots here look really, really good, or the grafted area looks really good. I believe we are going to be okay. Now, I didn't cut this peach tree at all. I didn't trim it. I didn't do anything to it. I was too afraid with the shock of relocating it and then start to cut off some of the branches. I just thought that was just too much for this tree. It stayed dormant for almost a year and a half when I first put it in the ground, which is unusual. So I thought the tree was dead. I stuck it in here. It's growing. It looks good. It's thick. It's healthy. I believe we're going to be okay for next year. But we are not going to do anything else to it right now. This is a Reliance peach tree. This tree right here, and there's not much to it, this is a pink lady, my absolutely favorite apple to eat. We just transplanted it into this space here about a month ago at this time, and it looks like it's going to survive. Hopefully the roots will take hold before the ground freezes too much. And actually it's the same thing for all of the trees in this space here. This is a Honeycrisp. It went in on the same day. My brother was here and he helped me put these in. We will just look over all of those green stalks that I need to put back together. There are 21 tiers of green stalks that we need to reassemble. So there's 1 green, 1 brown, and 1 stone colored green stalk in there. This is a red skin peach tree. It's one of the new ones that I just purchased. So I purchased 2 apple trees and 2 peach trees about a month ago, and it looks good. I was really worried because all the leaves fell off of it pretty quick, but it's looking healthy. Now this tree is at least 2 years behind my other peach trees. And this is also a red skin peach tree, but it looks healthy. I'm hoping it will survive and it'll grow and catch up with the other ones. All right, so this is the new orchard area, or will be the new orchard area. I just want to thank everybody who gave me ideas of what we can put in there. I am thinking watermelons and muskmelons and all kinds of other goodies over there, and maybe even some strawberries around the edges. As we come into the main garden area here, I added blueberry bushes to the ends of all 3 of these metal raised beds. This one I think is dead. I relocated it here. I think it's dead. We will see how it does, but it's not looking too happy. If any of it's alive and survives, great. If not, that's okay. This one here, I thought was dead last year, or this past year actually, and I pulled it out of the ground and just threw it in a pot. I looked at it about a month later and it had leaves on it. So it looks healthy, nice red leaves. This is a legacy blueberry, I believe, as is this one here. And then we get to my lemonade blueberry bush. And this one's new. I actually got this one when I got the new fruit trees here about a month ago, and it's looking great. So right on the front edge of these 3 beds, I'm going to have blueberry bushes welcoming you into the garden. All of these beds have been taken down, cleaned up. We already got the mulch in them. They are ready to rest for the winter. Coming on around, this is my grapevine area. I thought about changing it, but that's just going to be too much work, y'all. And I don't want to have to change it. So for the grape area, we will leave it the same next year. I need to cut it back just a little bit more, but for now, this is the grape area. And then I also have strawberries that's been growing in these fire rings in front of the grape area now for 2 seasons. The one in the middle has been going, this is its 3rd season, and this is the 2nd season for the strawberries. But they're doing amazing. They're still green, believe it or not, but the season should be over. And we've already put leaves in to kind of mulch them in for the winter so they can say good night until spring. I also have a teeny little bitty down there blueberry plant that was being shaded out by a peach tree that I dug up and relocated to this spot here. And it looks healthy, so I think it is going to survive and maybe actually do something. Interesting enough, that particular blueberry bush I got on clearance for like $1.50, like three years ago maybe, and I just stuck it in the ground and it survived. So let's see if we can get some blueberries on it now. Finally. There's a pepper plant that I never got up. I'll just keep walking around the front edge. All of the beds have been put to bed. I have leaves on all of them. All of the tomatoes have been taken out. Look at that, y'all. I got one broccoli plant that says I'm still going to produce something. So I got one little bitty head of broccoli. That's it. One little head. That's all I have. Moving on down. Now, this is the first year I've used this bed, and the dirt is really settling down in there. We will have to add more soil to that in this upcoming season, but this is good enough for now. I have herbs in there that should come back next year. There's also a pepper plant here that's done for the year. On the edge of the garden here, I've relocated one of my GreenStalks. Now, it's not set up, so I don't want you to think that it's set up and I'm thinking it's level, but it's not level. I just rode it to where I want it to be next year. We're going to take the wheels off. We're going to get a solid paver to go up under it next year, but I was just trying to get it in place. This is the original fruit orchard. I mean, if you can call 3 trees an orchard, but there are 3 apple trees over here, Gala, Fuji, and a Sundance tree. And they will pollinate each other, and I really do believe we will be getting fruit on these trees this next season. I did get a few fruit on the Fuji tree this year, but they were so small, I didn't worry too much about them. And then I've already cut these trees back. They are ready for the winter. They're ready to go. And I'm expecting plenty of apples on these trees in the upcoming season. And these trees, of course, are ahead of the 2 trees that I just purchased. and they will pollinate each other. This GreenStalk right here, I said that I was going to put it in the garage and try to protect it from the bad weather. Well, you see it's not in the garage, and it still has peppers on them. So I may go ahead and roll it over into the garage or not. We'll see if I can get to it since it's a holiday week. And it's been sitting out here. It got snowed on this week. And what else happened this week? It got pretty cold. So I'm surprised that it looks as good as it does. I mean, I haven't fertilized it or anything. I haven't paid any attention to it, but there's the last GreenStalk that I need to get it together and move it to where it needs to be. There are 2 blackberry bushes, vines, whatever you call it over here. I trimmed them up a little bit, but I didn't completely trim them back yet. I need to finish doing that. We will eventually get to it one day. I'm gonna come back into the garden here for a minute. All of the flowers I had in here are finally dying back. That snow a couple of days ago pretty much took everything out except for my cool season crops. I still have 2 Korean radish right here. And these radish still look good. They can handle the cold. I mean, it's not like it got much lower than 30, 33 degrees over the last few days, so it's happy. But you can see all of the tomato plants are gone. I've tried to clean everything out. Oops, I missed that one. It'll be all right. We'll get it cleaned out later. Now, this is the area that I haven't finished setting up for next year. I have that bed there that's coming out, and this bed right here is coming out as well. But they can't come out just yet because, y'all look at those Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts are doing their thing. They're happy. They need to be harvested. I'm not doing that today either. We will get to it when we get to it. But I just want you to see how the Brussels sprouts are doing. There are 2 little Brussels sprout plants right here that I don't know if they're going to make anything on them or not. And I've harvested a ton of Brussels sprouts off of that one. I really need to start working on these purple ones over here before these worms take over. Look at the worms. They just done took over that Brussels sprout. The whole top of it's gone. Just another angle where you can see those Brussels sprouts doing their thing over there. GreenStalk will be somewhere close to this location, but I don't think it's in its exact home, and we're going to take the wheels off of it, but I just wanted to move it over into the garden. Now, I don't plan on pouring the dirt out of my GreenStalks this year. I'm leaving the dirt in them. We will refresh it in the spring when we're ready to plant in them, but I'm going to leave it set up just right here, just like this, until spring. I did have some broccoli in this bed here. It's done, y'all. It's been done for a very long time. So we're going to pull them up and let them compost right here in place. And I think that's the main garden. I don't think I missed anything. Now, this was my most productive peach tree. We've already cut it back and prepared it for the winter as well. And as long as we keep trimming these trees, they will stay nice and short, and we will be able to harvest from the ground all of the peaches that it's going to provide in the future. This is the other peach tree that it was actually planted months before that one there, but they just stayed dormant so long. It finally woke up, and it had peaches on it this year, and somebody walked down the street and took all of my peaches except for 2 or 3. So that peach tree I didn't get to enjoy. All of these peach trees over here are Reliance peach trees, and I had some huge peaches off of that tree there. I think it was like 7 or 8 pounds of peaches I harvested off of there, and they were delicious. And yes, that peach tree is leaning at this point. I think it's too late to rescue it. I've just been dumping compost into this bed from indoors. So there's a pile of compost in here from my indoor kitchen composter from Vego Garden. And I just dump it in the beds and I just keep right on going. In this galvanized tub right here that's full of Christmas lights that we just threw on top and left them there. That bed right there had strawberries in it and a blueberry bush. And I don't believe this is going to be here next year, but for now, that's where it sits. But right behind it, I have relocated another GreenStalk to this space here. And in this GreenStalk next year, we're going to put all flowers. And again, it's not set up properly. It still has wheels on it and is sitting crooked. But we know this is where we plan on putting the GreenStalk for next year. And if you noticed, I am moving all of the GreenStalks off of my driveway. And that's because my mom told me I need to move the GreenStalks off of the driveway. And that's fine, because eventually I'm going to have to get the driveway done, and I don't want to have to relocate them later. So next year, I shouldn't have to have too many, and I'll say it that way, too many GreenStalks on the driveway or in that area. And this is the last GreenStalk I want to show you. In the top up here, this was all basil. That was all basil. And you can see the basil has finished for the year. Just below the basil right here, that, believe it or not, is celery. And y'all, that celery is still very happy. Very, very happy growing in the GreenStalk. And that's a full head of celery. In the bottom, that's all parsley. In that next layer that you see there, I have curly parsley. I have large flat leaf parsley in there as well. And I need to get that parsley and I need to dehydrate it and add it to my stash here very soon. In the very, very bottom, that's cilantro, y'all. And I never harvested it. I just left it there because I just didn't have time. There is some lettuce out here, not much, but just a little bit of lettuce in here. So there's some red lettuce. I believe that is a romaine lettuce. Some of the lettuce has gone to seed, but that's that GreenStalk. Well, that's it, y'all. That's everything going on at Kim's Kozy Korner. We pretty much got the garden makeover done, at least what I'm going to do at this point, with the exception of those GreenStalks. You got to see how everything's doing in the garden, what little's left out there. You can see we've already shut pretty much most of the beds down for the season. And you can see the couple of GreenStalks there are still doing okay. I just wanted to let you know what this late November day looks like at Kim's Kozy Korner. Thanks for hanging out with me. And if you enjoyed the video, like I always say, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're shutting down the outdoor garden, but we will still be gardening indoors through the winter months. If you enjoyed the video, also think about giving me a thumbs up, hearts, sharing, turning on notifications, all of that good stuff. So I hope you will join me again at Kim's Kozy Korner. So until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you decide to hang out with me at Kim's Kozy Korner. Bye.